Hello everyone, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. I have some channel messages that I want to share with anyone who's interested, with those it may resonate with. First, I want to say that there's been a shift in my mood. I'm starting to feel a little bit irritated, and that came out of left field. So perhaps the energy that I'm tapping into feels the same way. You're not feeling quite like your usual self. You're not in the highest of spirits. And when I go into the oracle deck or tarot cards, maybe things will be brought to more clarity as to why suddenly I feel this way. But like I said, I have some channel messages. One of them is paparazzi. Okay. Another one is I Did It My Way, and that's a song by Frank Sinatra. All right. And another message is Born This Way, or A Star Is Born. So this might have something to do with Lady Gaga, because I know that she sings a song called Born This Way, and also was featured, if I'm not mistaken, as an actress in a movie called A Star Is Born. Okay, so there's some connection there. Somebody might be a fan of Lady Gaga. Somebody might be listening to some Gaga right now. I know it has been a while. Also, she has a song called Paparazzi. So that's 3 Lady Gaga references. And that's quite interesting. The number 3 might also be relevant here. Somebody could be born in the 3rd month on the 3rd day, or something's about to happen in threes. I know something, superstition says death occurs in 3. So there might be a passing of not 1, not 2, but 3 persons back to back. Okay. And with that being said, my mind went on thinking about somebody who passed away a little over a year ago. We were not friends. We were only acquainted through a Facebook group. She went by the name Brooklyn Carter, and I do not want to share the whole story here. I actually wrote an article that I'm going to edit and upload to the website. So if you want to know more, if you feel intrigued by this story, you could definitely check out the website later on in a few hours, and it should be posted. But she went by the name Brooklyn Carter, so Brooklyn might be relevant here as well. It was not her real name, and I believe that she chose that particular pseudonym because she was a fan of Sean Carter, Jay-Z. Okay, so hopefully that energy is not what I'm tapping into. But back to Brooklyn Carter. She passed away a year ago of a illness that they tried to keep on the hush hush. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I strongly believe that she requested that her illness was not shared because they did not want to validate or verify that I was right in my prediction that she was going to become gravely ill. 3 years prior to her passing away, I believe March 2021, she was in the group, the Facebook group that we are both a part of, bragging, boasting about Chick-fil-A, how much it was hitting the spot, how she loved it, just coming off very gluttonous to me. And I don't know if I was annoyed because at the time I was doing health promotion. I was selling sea moss. I was like a holistic health practitioner, encouraging people to detox and to be careful of their diet, you know, to become in charge, to take their health into their own hands kind of vibe. So I don't know if I was being too pushy or forward when I decided to blurt out through text, is that what you're eating? And you know, I'm sure she didn't receive that well, especially since we're in the group and other people could see the comment. All right, so I decided to message her through her DMs and explain that I wasn't trying to embarrass her, that I actually felt compelled to say what I said. And I went on to encourage her to do better, you know, in terms of managing her diet, not to really intake so much junk food, to do the research on the ingredients that Chick-fil-A uses for their meals, and etc., etc. Okay, again, she did not receive that well. Months after of the same year, 2021, her and her crew, you know, a bunch of mean girls, decided to make me a target to bully, and they really went off. However, I did not engage. I did not defend myself. I just allowed them to talk amongst themselves. But one of the things that they were making a major issue was where I lived. They were using where I lived as a means to I guess, diminish me in some way to make me feel inferior or beneath them. Where I live was a low income area, among some migrants, fresh out of India and stuff like that. I have no shame because I was pursuing high education at the time, and paying high rent just didn't make any sense to me. And even though I have since graduated, I still live where I live. It's not a place of luxury. So I think that they were really trying to roast me because they didn't live where I lived, or I don't know. I don't know what their mindset was, what was motivated them, except for the fact that they wanted to bring me down. They wanted to prove that I wasn't all that. Okay. Fast forward, because I don't want to give everything away, because I did write an article and I do not want to use all this time just speaking about this person. 3 years after being bullied online by her and her crew, she passes away. And I don't want to sound harsh when I say I wish she would have listened, because I told her so. I told her that this is what I saw. I told her if she didn't make a change, that she will not have length of days. There will be no longevity. And I hate being a bearer of bad news. I hate being looked at as a grim reaper. But if I say a thing, there is a 99% chance that that thing is going to follow through, that that thing is going to come to pass, because most of the time I'm not speaking of myself, and I'm not a cruel and unusual person to just wake up and try to stick it to anybody, to make anybody feel bad, make anybody feel low, inferior, anything like that. I'm just not that type of person, even though some people might have this perception of me. Trust me when I say, if you get to know me, you'll probably be like, oh, that's the nicest person I ever met. But for some reason, these people wanted to paint a contradictory picture of me. And I wasn't going to engage with them. They were roasting. And somebody else brought it to my attention that this was happening, and I still chose to not engage. Okay. So I just want to say rest in peace to her, Brooklyn Carter. Really wish she was still here. But the lesson to be learned here is to not make fun of people. Okay. Because here she was making fun of where I lived, and now she is no longer in the land of the living. I'm sure if she had the choice of, you want to die before 40 years old or live in, subsidized housing, she'll probably choose subsidized housing, So it's just really sad that that's how things had to end for her. And I could share more stories about the other members of the crew, but I'll save that for another time, because it seems as if my spirit guides, or karma, or the Most High God, is really going after these people one by one on my behalf, unbeknownst to me as well, because I'm not here praying for any kind of misfortune to reach these people. In fact, it's the opposite. I wish these people the best. I just wish that they weren't motivated by jealousy and envy, or just being so mean-spirited, filled with hatred and malice, that they would pick on somebody for no reason other than that person was actually trying to progress and do better with their life. I'm speaking of myself, and in doing better, it does not mean that I think I am better. And I think that's where some kind of confusion came in, that my confidence was taken as arrogance, was taken as me trying to be somebody big. Woe unto me for having big dreams, eh? Anyhow, I wanted to share that. So for somebody here, you might be a prophetic speaker as well. I know where I come from in Jamaica, they call it goat mouth. So whatever it is you say kind of comes to pass. So people don't really like to talk to you, don't want to hear you open your mouth, because they think that you're going to put some kind of hex on them. Okay. You might be that person I am speaking to, a real life medium, a real life oracle. Okay. And whether it's for the dark side or the light side, I'm not quite too sure, because there are oracles for every spirit out there to be used. All right. So if you are indeed that type of person, I just want to encourage you to not feel guilty when you see your own prophecies and premonitions come to pass. It is out of your control. Okay. Who you work for, and I hope it's the Most High God, is bigger than you, more powerful, and you cannot change God's hands when God decides to orchestrate certain movements on the board. All right, I know it's very sad and unfortunate that there are going to be people who will just not believe you. All right, but you continue speaking that truth anyway. Okay, there's also something here about zombies. Okay, so put it however it applies, but the messages that all have Lady Gaga in common is paparazzi, born this way, and a star is born. All right, I think I want to do oracle before I do tarot. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing me this opportunity to come on and do what I do once more. I do this for you, and I hope that whoever it resonates with will take heed. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, don't say I didn't warn you. Hallelujah. You've been warned. Okay, so that's what I'm hearing now. You have been warned. All right, now I'm hearing, touch not the Lord's anointed, do his prophets no harm. All right, touch not the Lord's anointed, do his prophets no harm. I want to say the happy ending in that story was her friends used a butterfly as a symbol for her, and a few days after she passed, a butterfly appeared to me like up close in my face, and I felt as if it was her, like she had the energy of Brooklyn Carter, and it was almost like she came to say, hey, no hard feelings. And I'm like, it's mutual, you know? So again, I'm not mad at this person or anyone else in that group. Sometimes our own immaturity gets in the way, you know? And again, I know I take accountability for my part for not being more discreet in sharing the message. The message should have been just directed at her. But again, I felt compelled in that moment to say it right then and there. And perhaps other people needed to see it to bear witness that she was warned. Okay, so don't say I didn't tell you so. Don't say you have not been warned. That is the message. And I think I'm going to title the video as such. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, there's a karmic masculine going to jail. Okay, I'll just take all of that. Let's see what the remainder has to say here. There's quite a few came out, and I don't know how much time I have on this phone, the backup phone. Oh, hope everyone's enjoying their Wednesday. And if you are feeling irritable, just know that this too shall pass. Too much. Don't make any drastic decisions in a temporary moment. This too shall pass. Okay, this feeling shall go. Wow, that came out again. Somebody's gonna pass away. I can't hold it in. Black Hawk down. That's my card that comes to tell me that death is on the horizon for somebody. I saw it appear and I kept shuffling, and then it came out. So I know. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Okay, somebody's gonna pass away. The nose is itching. More confirmation. You have been warned. You have been warned. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because this feeling is heavy. It's heavy. Yeah, I don't live in luxury, and I'm not the one to ever pretend. You're not gonna catch me on Instagram, you know, putting up pics to give anyone the wrong idea a fake story. I don't live behind facades. This is who I am, okay? I am who I am, and I'm not ashamed in who I am. I'm actually proud of who I am, that I'm able to maintain a roof over my head, my children's head. You know, we're not on the streets, we're not in a shelter. We eat well, you know, and to be honest, my rent is not even that cheap anymore. I pay market rent. I just live in the same area because why would I up and move to impress somebody? You know, that makes no sense to me. So